Welcome to Founders and Fortitude Conversations with Audrie Dollins, a podcast where we uncover the raw realities of being a founder, celebrating the brilliance of the teams, individuals, and families working tirelessly behind the scenes, and explore the fortitude, the unwavering determination it takes to navigate the twists, turns, and triumphs of entrepreneurship and life itself. Each week, we will share candid conversations, actionable insights, and inspiring stories to empower you on your journey. Whether you're building a brand, scaling a business, an online creator and influencer, or pursuing your passions with relentless drive, let's dive into the grit, grace, and growth it takes to thrive. Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of Founders and Fortitude. Let's get into it. Hi friends, I am with some longtime friends, Chavayee and Herbert Johnson of the Johnson Realty Group. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
I want to give a little bit of a background. How we know each other is we met when our daughters were 5.
Yes.
They were in kindergarten.
Yes.
And they played softball together.
Yes.
And then within sports, like everything, it's like a sports family. So even if you're playing for another team, we always kind of find ourselves back with each other at different ages of life.
That's right.
And let's just open it up with, we were all a little feisty. We were the feisty, passionate parents.
Yeah.
Because we all love sports.
Yes.
And
sit on the fence line.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sit on the fence line. When we saw each other today, we were laughing because I was a feisty parent, and anytime I would get feisty, my husband would leave me there at the game. That's true. Because that is not how he felt I should represent our family or our daughter.
And that's okay. We gravitated to each other when that happened.
We did.
It's all right.
We had such great times as parents, but we wanted the best for our kids, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
That's right.
And as our daughters have gotten older, they have discovered things on their own. Let's tap into that really quick. You both were speaking to me about Kira. Now, it's hard for me to call her that because she's bugged to me.
Yes.
So our little sports, does she still go by that or
Sometimes.
no? Only to the close people.
To the close people. No new friends call
Her bug.
Right.
Okay. How is she? And then since then we have y'all have 2 more kids.
That's right. Yes, we
And
added to the bunch.
how old are they now?
So Kira is 15,
Uh-huh.
Trip is 6, and Harper is 5.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I remember when they were born and all I think I was playing with Trip when we were doing softball practice and all the things. I love them all so much. And as Kira got older, she decided that softball wasn't it.
She laid the bat down.
So what was that conversation like when you're discussing, like, I don't want to play this sport anymore? How did you feel? What was your guidance to her? Because we're going to all write this down.
I felt distraught.
Yeah.
Because to see a young lady from the age of 5, 6 play till she's about 10 or 11, and to feel that, she didn't want to play, that the pressure, and she wanted just to do other things, it just kind of hurt because you can see how much potential that she had, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you have to self-reflect and kind of say to yourself, like, hey, we kind of pigeonholed her, right? We pigeonholed her early because she was great at it. Once she got in middle school, she just kind of opened up Pandora's box and started playing all the sports. And at that point, I think me and Chavayee just had that conversation as to where, like, you know what, we're just, hands off, let her find her way, let her gravitate to the sport she likes, and then we'll just support her in that.
Right. I kind of saw it coming in her. I did. I would watch her, and the spark wasn't there anymore. Like even before the games, and then after the tournaments, because the tournaments last the entire weekend. She didn't. She no longer wanted to devote her weekends to that. So I progressively saw it coming. So we would have conversations. I'd say, you need to try your best, and she would say self-defeating things, and I'd kind of have to coach her out of it. But I saw it coming. So we support her.
I mean, I think it's one of those things. Presley did that when he was turning 15 and he ended up getting a job. We have an episode that he talked about, I just liked having cash in my pocket. And, you know, like he's like, I really started getting that bug of like, I didn't have to ask for my parents. And if I wanted to stop at McDonald's, I did, So he got that independent bug, but he said, he was like, I wish I would have studied more, focused on this, but I got that, you know, loved being independent type thing. Yes. And then with Scarlett with sports, she's kind of doing that as well. She's 16 and she's been having those conversations of like, the pressure is too much, because even in school itself, you know, dual classes, they're going into where it's college and high school, and then you're playing with this type of coach and that type of coach. And I think with what I would say, and y'all please pipe in. I know me and you will. I know you will pipe in with me. But I think it's also too, you know, coaches, what their background are, maybe vetting out the coaches. Because I think one thing that Scarlett said to me that made me pause on all of this select team, because she will not play for select moving forward. She's just going to play for her high school. Yes, we're backing up. It's just too much. And the comment she made to me is she said, you know, Mom, every coach that I've had since I was 5 was like, you know, we need to see your loyalty. We need to see your dedication. I've not seen one coach give me that back. Boom. I was like, she's not wrong, because they are trading cards to some of that. Now, not all of them were. There were some impactful coaches, but ultimately the team broke apart and there was just not, she didn't get that back. So I was like, she's not wrong. And like you said, that spark, we see it in them. And if our strong, hardworking girls are feeling that pressure, it's not giving up, it's redirecting.
Correct.
Because I, as a parent, I don't think I made the right choice of opening up the gates to let her play other sports.
I know we didn't. We know,
Yeah. Because I wanted her to be the best at everything. And I'm like, girl, you can't dribble a ball. You're not playing that. And I should have allowed her to develop that.
Perfection should never be the goal. Like, it's just not. That's not realistic. And for us to make our kids go that path, like, we had a lot of reflecting. And then we even said, with the 2 coming behind her, no, whatever you want to play, go play.
Yes.
Just go play.
Yes.
So.
And we had a baseball player on one of our first episodes, and he said the same thing. I will not pressure my kids. If he played all sports, and the dedication that you have to have as a professional athlete, like, that needs to come when you're an adult, not when you're so young. They can't process that.
That's not external.
With those sports, and I love having these conversations because I feel that competitiveness within us as parents, and then, you know, setting the bar for our kids. Because I want to be clear. I think there's something to say for us having expectations for our kids. There's a difference between, you know, wanting them to play select, but we're not just going to sit around and not achieve. So I think there's a difference. And then with that comes in entrepreneurship and owning business. And so that's why I wanted you guys here today, is because I see that competitiveness and that drive in you both. And so give me a background how you, Herbert, started in real estate. And then we'll have you follow it up, Chavayee, about where your path, because how you both start working together, I love it. But how did you get where you are right now to start your own company and do this?
It really just started with a vision that I felt like God really gave to me, to be honest. And that vision was to leave a legacy for my family. Growing up, I felt like a legacy was not left for me, and that's something that I did not want my family to go through if something was to ever happen to me, right? So that was my biggest why, to leave a legacy for my family. Starting out, it was very, very, very difficult because I didn't have any leads, I didn't have any buyers or sellers, I didn't have no type of book of business. So my book of business came from door knocking. 2013 in the summer, 104-degree heat. I remember because I spent that entire summer passing out business cards, knocking, informing the neighborhood that I lived in, which was Paloma Creek at the time. New community, growing community. So
And we were neighbors.
Yeah, and
Yes,
were
We were
neighbors.
neighbors.
You were neighbors.
Yes,
Right.
we
I
were
forgot
that
about that.
close.
Right, you did
I
get
forgot
that.
about that.
Yes.
That's right. That's crazy.
But that's where it started from. And once I got one client who believed in me, that gave me an opportunity, I just ran with it. And therefore I became a neighborhood specialist, stuff like that. So things just started to unfold.
And that I think too is, I think it's so important when you build your own like that, you appreciate all of those little details. Not all the time. We're human.
right.
It's like that desire for more. I think we all get caught up in it, but I also think that's what drives us through the tough times.
Yep.
And I absolutely love that, because your why gave me chill bumps, because same thing. I came from humble beginnings, and I'm like, I want to leave something. And you know, we take it. And I always say, yes, I value the opportunity to meet somebody, but it's what you do with that introduction is all on you.
Right.
How you carry yourself, how you follow through. And it's not just the talk, it's the game that follows it up.
Right.
It's that work ethic. Because anybody can talk themselves into the room. It's finalizing the deal and then following it up with adding something big to it. Not just being done with that one thing.
Adding value.
Yes.
Adding value. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I wanted to say, and then your path.
Yes.
So you were assistant principal. You've worked in the school systems and
Probably almost 15 years, yeah. I was an educator for that long. And then in terms of administration, probably about 7 years. So that was a bumpy road. We tossed it back and forth probably 3 to 5 years with me transitioning to help with the business. I'll say initially, I didn't have the vision Herbert had. I didn't. I was raised, you go to work, you work hard, you get paid, you use that to take care of your family. And you keep going through that pattern, you keep going through there. And it's like a wheel. I just kept going through that wheel. And I would have moments of burnout, worked for great people, worked with great people, the kids were great, but my spark was gone. My spark was gone. And when we had the babies, I found it again. It was like, I need to be pouring into my family. And I felt like I wasn't doing that. I felt like I was doing that for other families, but I needed to be able to do that for my family. So when I finally got to the point where Herbert and I talked about it and decided to transition, I had removed all fear, all of the negative thoughts about it, all of the fear about it, all of the we don't have a safety net, all of that just left. I was like, this is what we're going to do. We have to create the net for our kids. We have to create the net for our niece and our nephews. We have to make it. So that's how we are.
I love that, because Jason told me this one time, and I think when someone says something and it impacts you so big, he said, every day you say you believe in God.
Right.
So do
That's
it.
right. Live in faith.
So do it.
That's right.
Quit. You can't control that.
That's right.
Because I would be worried that my kids were getting in the car with someone, or he's like, let go and believe. If you say you believe, trust it. And there's not been, if you're going for it, and I've had conversations with other people of like, I donated this much to this organization, and then I got a bonus check because I sold this that I completely forgot about in the exact same amount.
Yes.
And that is what I feel like, if you are leading from the heart and leading to pour into your family and help others, you will always be taken care of. And that's what I feel like. There are fears that if you don't push them aside and trust in your vision, trust in whoever and what you believe in, trust in God. I'm a Christian, I trust God, and trust that, then it will come back to you. And it says it. Don't make me quote scripture. Right. I know it says it in there, but the verse,
I remember it was a moment where Herbert got so frustrated with me. He just looked at me, and we were in our bedroom. He said, "Where is your faith?"
Yes.
And I was like, "Well, dog."
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I love that. So it comes to this because Jason and I were we were laughing because I think what we want the public to see as our relationship, the facts are it's hard. Behind the scenes, it's hard.
That's
we have family, we have bills, we have, especially when the holidays come around and we have to do this. And I mean, I remember working really hard, and there was, they were having like a root beer float at the kids' school.
Okay.
And, you know, for a parent to get there, that is doing all these things, and so I was in charge of the root beer. Well, so I'm like running, hustling, like I have to take these 10 phone calls to get in there, and I show up because I'm in charge of the root beer, and there's 50 bottles of root beer. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. All of those life things behind the scenes, and then you're calling your husband like, did you get her cleats? You know, all these things. How do y'all push it aside and have a relationship? Do you etch time out? Are y'all the 1 week a night, or 1 week? We wish we could take a week. One night a month. Do y'all etch that out, or are we still in the progress?
Because I think we're still in the process of figuring that out. I don't think we have that all figured out. It's not totally balanced. It's not.
No, and I think that's okay because we aren't either.
Yeah.
It's hard to balance. It's hard to balance that when you're trying to focus on growing a business.
That's right.
And then as soon as you know that time is up, you transition to getting the kids, serving the kids, doing what they need, right? And then at the end of the night, you barely have time for us. So it's like, you know, we try to etch it in, we try to put it in, but we haven't mastered it. You know, her transition's only been what? 8 months?
A little over 6 months.
6 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to master that, but I think the key really is to pour into each other.
Yeah.
Pour into each other and take those date nights. Tell your spouse that you appreciate them for the work that they are doing, right? Let them know that it's not going unnoticed. Because those little breadcrumbs will tend to lead to a date night. It will tend to lead into a weekend. And even if you don't get that, it's just the fact that you are saying that acknowledgement. Everybody likes to be acknowledged. Everybody. Everybody likes confirmation, knowing that I'm doing what I need to do. So that's one thing that I've learned is to make sure she understands and she's ensured that I know that she's putting in the work.
Right.
There's two things I want to touch on that you said here that are so important. I think that on the outside, I think people think like, oh, we want flowers and gifts. That's not it at all. I mean, me personally, you're shaking your head too.
No.
I mean, would I take a Louis Vuitton bag? Well, of course.
I'm not going to give it back.
But, like, I'm not going to give it back. Way to go. And where did we put, who got this money? Where does this come from? But it's not that. It's affirmation. It's, hey, you're doing a great job. Like, you know,
acts of service.
Yeah. And then you also nailed on, you know, taking the crumbs. And I think that's key, because taking the crumbs where you can of time together, because it can be as simple as us running a Costco run and having that time in the car on the way to Costco, even though we're doing our things that we need to get done for the office or our family. It's those moments that, hey, we're going to pull over and have ice cream or our favorite restaurant as we're doing that together. Right. And then I love it. And I don't think I've even told him this, like when he comes up here and takes me to lunch, like those moments mean a lot to me that get me through the day or the week. Now, I mean, I may come home and it may all go to hell in a handbasket, but those mean something. And I think that's taking those crumbs where you can, because we do have younger children. We can't go on a trip. I mean, we want to, but there's so many moving parts.
Well, our family trip costs money because it's 5. So we have to take them when we can. And, you know, with him, you know, even with Jason coming up here taking you to lunch, it's just him showing you he appreciates you, right? So those little things, you know, with us, it's our ride to the gym.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people,
in the morning.
And we have a little 15-minute ride. So, you know, every Sunday I've started incorporating like a family meeting, right? So I started doing that. So with our time in the morning on our ride, I'm like, hey, let's have our business meeting. Let's have, you know, our personal meeting. Let's have our discussion as we're driving to the gym. And believe it or not, that helps.
It does.
Our prayer time, our, you know, mental mindset, what we got going on. we do that to uplift each other, because that's a major thing that we have to do, that I believe that we have to do, because we're self-employed. We're entrepreneurs, right? We don't get these accolades because a corporation says, "Hey, you did well. This is what you get. Your 15-year watch." No, we get accolades by the work we put in. Is what we get out.
Right.
And if we're pouring into each other, then we're uplifting each other to drive that force. So we try to get it in as much as we can when it comes to, showing each other love and appreciation for each other throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
I love that y'all go to the gym together.
He's super regimented.
I need to this is something I struggle with. I do not keep this a secret, but I'm like, I have got to start working out. I have paid for the gym membership. I don't go. I mean, I'll just ride with y'all in the morning. Can I get a ride?
Yes.
We were talking about this earlier about our kids going along for this journey, because ultimately it is not the same life. Because like you were talking about, that's how my parents were. It is, we work from this time to this time, we clock out.
Right.
There is a complete regimen. I mean, my dad worked for American Airlines, got on the little train. He had to leave the house at 3:30 a.m., was on this at 4 a.m., and, like clockwork.
Right.
And so anything outside of that, but we never really got to experience the day-to-day. I don't know. We got it a little bit, but we could go to work a little bit of like bring your kid to work day
on those special days.
On those special days.
Yeah.
But when we own our own businesses, we have that control of what that looks like.
That's right.
And my kids, we were laughing on our episode because Scarlett locked us out of the car and they had their iPads, and not every client I took my kids with, but there are situations we have to and we want to bring them along.
Right.
I think that they have learned so much, and my kids were talking about time management. What do you feel like your kids are learning watching you? How do you kind of bring them in your process? Which I know Kira's the oldest.
Yeah.
But what do you feel that they're experiencing that may, other kids may not with this?
Honestly, I would say time management is one, right? Time management, work ethic is two. Being strong-minded, because entrepreneurship, you have to be strong-minded. You might have tons of closings one day, and then or in 1 month, and then the next month you might not have any, right? So just being strong-minded and knowing that the work you're putting in is what you're getting out, right? I think Kira is learning how to become an entrepreneur, and she's getting that entrepreneurial mindset early, teaching her about finances early. Teaching her how, hey, you don't have to work for a corporation. You want to start a company in social media. This is how you do it. These are the steps, and I think with that, it's giving her ideas on what she could do. She's thinking outside of the box instead of, I got to go to school to be an accountant. Who says that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Nobody says you have to go to school to be an accountant. You can go to school, be whatever you want to be. Just have the dream, and once you have the dream, focus on how to get there. And that's where I say, hey, let God lead your steps. As long as you make the correct choices, He will guide you and lead you to your destination. He is our MapQuest.
Right.
He is our GPS. Right. So I think that's what we learn. We preach a lot in our family.
But we try to model it. We don't.
But I think you nailed it too, because whether she works for a corporation or does something on her own, you're leading an example of you have to expect it from yourself.
That's right.
You can't expect it from everybody else.
That's right.
When you walk in that room, whether it's you're building your own company or you're working for another one,
that's right.
It's what you put into it and what you're going to get out of it.
That's
because if you go in doing bare minimum, you're going to get bare minimum.
That's what you're going to get back.
And yes,
I think she's learned consistency, and then even Kira came to me, I want to say it was probably at the beginning of the school year, and she said, "Mommy, I'm happy that you're happy." That's what she told me.
Yeah.
And I was like, this kid is in 9th grade. What is she talking about? And she's like, "You're happier, Mom."
We're all happy that you're happy.
Yeah. So
and that's important too.
I love that you say that, because we are women of our families, and they, we do set the tone, because, and men are the leaders of the family.
That's right.
And then as women, but we do kind of control that atmosphere, that temperature of what that is.
Yeah.
And I don't realize that impact.
I don't think I did as I was doing the day-to-day grind.
Yes.
I don't think I took ownership of how much my temperament impacts everybody else. I knew how much Herbert's temperament impacted our household. Like, okay, we got to make sure everything's peaceful and all that. But if I'm antsy, they're going to be antsy, you know?
Yes.
So that it kind of transfers. But she did. She came to me and she was like, basically like, Mom, I like you. It was kind of like that. That's how I took it. Like, I was like, I am fun, aren't I? Like, thank you. Yeah. But yeah, so.
Well, you know, I'm sorry, baby.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I really liked about her transition is because when she transitioned, not only did she transition her job, her mindset transformed.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was no more of the stress. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the fact she was in education. I love the fact
too. I learned
that
so much.
She learned so much,
Yeah.
and she's even brought more value to our business based on her experience.
That's right.
But the fact that she transitioned and her mind switch, not only did she understand what I do, but she started to understand her worth, her value.
My purpose.
And her purpose in life.
It was a different
right?
season, different purpose.
It's totally different. Totally different than you going to work and you're in a regimen. I get up, I go to work, I do this, I do that, I come home. You get up late, you get up early, come home late. But when you figure out your purpose, it's, I gotta do this, I'm gonna do this, I have this, and this is what I'm called to do.
Right.
Oh, I think 100%, because you're not I think when you don't know your purpose, you are clocking in for other people, etc. And then when you know your purpose, it's like, oh, it's 2 a.m. You know, like I worked all day. This was great. I nailed this. I nailed this. I'm going to wake up and see my family. We're going to go and that's okay. It's like when you know your purpose, obviously we don't all want to work till 2 a.m., etc. But it's like you don't realize that, where you feel so constricted with not knowing your purpose.
Yes.
It
was, like I said, it was bumpy. And I had a different season. I was in a season where I was pouring into like education and pouring into our school system. Now I'm just doing it from a different side. I don't have that duality where I'm a traditional educator and a parent. I'm a parent and I'm a community member. I have that side over here. I'm not in the trenches in that way, but I'm still in the trenches in a different way. So it's a shift. It was time to go and shift for this season from what I'm called to do. So,
and I love that you say seasons, because I say it all the time, because even the season that we are learning right now is not going to be the season, you know, when our girls graduate, which is really going to be sooner than we all feel. But I'm going to be an empty nester. Like I have no little ones. I just have dogs. Yeah. So that season's going to look different. And I think that seasons, it's okay to be where you are.
Right.
Even if anybody that's listening that is in a job, you are valued in that job, in that season. Right. Learn your purpose, put in that work, because it's okay to put in that work.
That's right.
I had to, all the things like we're laughing about of taking our kids here and doing that. I had to experience all of that to be able to provide and be there for other people at this season.
Yes.
So just like you're saying, you went through all of that for the purpose of this season.
Every skill I learned in education and being an assistant principal has carried over here. Every last one of them. Being able to talk to anybody. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter where you live.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you do. I can talk to you.
Yes.
I can talk to you. But at the same time, one of the lessons that I know I carried with me when I changed my mindset, everybody can't have access to me. So I shifted to that. And and I had to put up boundaries. Everybody can't have access to me. That's just how it is.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
I think that there's certain things that you have to do at the beginning, but then you set your own boundaries, and the only person that's going to hold those boundaries up are you.
It's you.
Just because you tell someone your boundary, it's still up to you to make sure that it's there.
That's right.
It is crazy.
It's about his purpose, and in order to fulfill his purpose, everybody cannot have access to you. It is what it is.
100%.
Yeah.
And even though that you want to do, like, even though our sheer reaction is to respond or, oh, I hope they don't
Yeah.
think bad of me. I think that was a different season.
Yeah.
I ultimately do. I care. I want to leave a
Yes.
legacy of respect
Right.
and
Yeah.
order and care. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that boundary is going to keep me in a
That's right.
positive mental state, my family in a positive state.
That's
And
right.
being available for everyone is not going to create that structure. And anyone that expects so much out of you is going to have a negative impact.
They're going to be disappointed today.
They're going to be real disappointed today.
Yeah.
So let's go over and lead that into real estate. It has been a little bit of chaos the past,
Yeah.
what did we say, 3-4 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess during COVID, and can we even say COVID anymore? I feel like that just the pandemic. Whisper it. During that, because even with us, we moved out. You know, the prices of homes, they were in such high demand during that time.
Yes.
We were paying so much more than we are now.
Yes, yes.
And I am not on the market looking for a home, so I don't
Yeah.
really know what that looks like.
Yeah.
But what is it looking like right now? And then what would you kind of advise someone that's either selling or buying? I know that's like a huge triple question there.
That's
Well,
all right.
Market right now we're back to a even playing field, right? Contract. There are homes that you get multiple offers, but right now we're in a standard market. It's more of a buyer's market, to be honest with you. So there isn't a lot of negotiation. You know, there's more so a lot of, hey, this is what the buyer needs in order to be able to purchase your home, right? They need a concession in order to purchase your home because interest rates are so high right now.
You
right?
need a buy down.
You need to buy down your rate. So there's a lot of room for negotiation. I think I said no negotiation, but there's room for negotiation. Now, if you come across a home that has everything in it, that checks every box, yeah, those are still out there. They get multiple offers, but those are, I'm not going to say rare, but there's not a lot of those, like in the 2020, 2021, where the market was just crazy. We're seeing
Homes are sitting for a bit.
Yeah,
They
days
are
on
sitting.
market are going up.
Just over like 30 days. Depends on the market where you are in the Metroplex. But yeah, they're sitting for a bit.
Even here, Frisco, the hottest market, homes are sitting, right? Because everybody wants to see what rates are going to do. But let me tell you, people,
Are they coming down or are they going up? Like, I don't.
Well,
Me.
I don't think it's going to be a huge discrepancy like we're hoping.
Yeah.
I think it's going to stay pretty much steady. We have to be financially prepared to make the moves that we want to make. That's just what it is.
right.
So,
And how does one right now, what do they need to, what's the basics that a home buyer needs right now to be
my
able
gosh.
to, or just like 3? Is that a lot? Is it a lot?
No.
Okay.
no.
What you mean by just the basic?
So like
things
what do
that-
they need to do if I want to come to you? So I personally right now I would love to do an investment property, but my husband's probably like, stop saying that out loud. But I'm putting
Say
it
it
to
out loud.
fruition,
Say it
okay?
out loud.
I'm giving
Yeah.
it to, but like I want to purchase a home as an investment property. I guess it depends on the season that someone is in their life on what they want to purchase. What are like maybe 3 things they should know and have when they come to you? Because sometimes when people come to you guys, I feel like y'all are taking them all around to look at these houses and they don't even know what they want.
No, we don't do
Well,
that.
we don't do
You're
that.
like, no.
Well, rules
We
have
hone
changed.
you in so nobody's time is wasted.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
We
good.
don't do that.
The
Yeah.
real estate market has changed. So now, before we even go see a home, buyers have to sign a buyer rep agreement in order to go see
Right.
homes, right?
Okay.
Right.
And let's just say you want to see 5 homes, and these are the only 5 homes you want to see with me.
Okay.
Fine. There is a price that you will have to pay me at the end of the tour to see these 5 homes.
Really?
Yes. So
How
that,
old am I? I didn't know this.
that just
It
started,
changed,
that
like,
just
this
started-
summer?
Yeah,
Is
it
this
just
that
started.
whole thing that was going on in the
Yes.
real estate industry that I was seeing on TikTok and all the things?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is part of that. So, and what that does is that helps agents like myself or any agent to prevent from wasting time, because you get a lot of buyers who just want to use your just use your knowledge and your wisdom, and then they don't want to use you during the process.
Yes.
Right? They don't want to sign a buyer rep agreement. Right?
Yes.
And it weeds that out.
weeds them out.
The serious buyers will be serious.
Right. And they don't mind signing with you.
Right.
Right. No,
That's
for
right.
sure. Because then the second part of that would be, there was something else that they put in where it's something about like, not 6%, but you'd have to split that with the other.
Commission. Yeah.
The commission with the other agent. What is that about?
So that's where basically you're putting your money where your mouth is. You're saying that you want to work with me. You have to be willing to pay. That's what we all have to pay for services. That's just how it goes. People have to eat. People want to live well. That's just what it is. So it's saying like all of this does not have to be on the seller. Some of it can be on the buyer too.
Okay.
And from my experience and Herbert's experience, they're serious. They're willing to pay. Yeah. Our serious clients, those people who are our clients, like we'll negotiate whatever we need to for the betterment of our client. But yeah, they're open to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, does the buyer really see that? Like when, because I know it's a lot for me. I am like not, I can run a business, you guys, but I cannot, I do not know real estate. So I am just like real estate for dummies right here.
No.
So my question would be like, what the difference is, did we pay 6% to the real estate agent before and then the other real estate agent didn't get anything?
No.
And now they're just splitting it.
So how it used to be, and usually it's still the same, the seller would pay the commission. That would be the bulk of the closing costs on the seller side because the buyer has to pay for their down payment,
costs,
all of
yes.
that, right? So now it has changed to where commission is negotiable and is strictly on the seller. So that you as a seller can say, hey, I don't want to pay 6%. I want to pay 4% total percent.
Okay.
So that means I'm getting 2, or I'm getting 3, or the buyer's agent
Or the buyer is going to cover the difference.
Right.
Okay.
So
For
they
the
just
buyer's
say-
agent.
So they just say, I say, okay, well, I will make sure I get 3%, but that leaves the buyer's agent 1. So let's say Chavayee is the buyer's agent. She goes to the buyer and says, hey, if you want this particular house, this particular seller is only paying 4%.
Okay.
My commission is 3%.
My commission is 3%, which I would like you to cover the extra 2%. Now,
But that's already a part of the
Because
the buyer
basically
rep agreement.
you're
Yeah.
bringing it's like, hey, I'm bringing these people to the table. I'm bringing the house to the table.
Correct.
And you don't have to necessarily bring the people to the table.
Correct.
If you don't want to. And so that's where so does it give you a little bit more control of your business? Like,
Yes, but at the same time, we have a duty to the client. If the client wants that home,
yes.
then we operate in their best interest to get them in the home that they want. What's going to fit their needs. So that's a conversation you have way before you start even showing homes.
Okay.
Like with that buyer rep agreement, this is what it is. I work for 3%.
Okay.
So you have it before you even enter. Are you willing to pay it no matter what house we go see? Because that's a caveat now. It just is.
When I was talking about, I'm laughing about TikTok. Do you feel like social media helps with your business, or do you feel like it puts out information that confuses us all?
Ooh, I think social media helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think the content that you put out there, you know, people are very visual. So if you put something that's very relatable to real estate, to people who are interested in real estate, it can help, right? It can help grow your business. It can help bring you clients. It can just help people get more knowledge about what they want to do before they even approach you. Now, I think that, you know, a lot of it just depends. It depends on your content, though. Like, what are you putting out there?
Yeah.
Right? You know,
Yeah.
If you're putting out
Trash.
stuff,
Yeah.
that's what you're going to get.
Well, and I think it's funny because a lot of those questions I have about, like, the only reason I knew that is because I saw it on social media.
Yeah.
And I'll see these homes, and you'll show homes, and I think y'all were touring something a home yesterday
Oh, yeah.
that I
Yeah.
was watching, and I think that it impacts so much. And we were laughing when you walked in because when we were taking photos way back in the day, and we were talking about that influencer type approach, I was laughing because that's kind of how I see real estate agents is because y'all are welcoming, being a resource, creating a lifestyle for a family. And that's what I see that why influencers have success, because I call it trust marketing. And when you're making a huge decision like buying a home, I feel like social media is that digital business card, and I'm like, I want to get to know them. And I like how they did this here. And when you show people that are closing on a home, like, oh, they look like me. Like, you know what I mean? I can see, I can visualize myself where they stand. And how exciting that is. And so I love watching real estate, watching you both, because I'm like, okay, I want that house. We always envision, you know, those homes, and I don't know, I do. I like HGTV and all of that, you know. I like watching all of that. What is a tip? So this is going to be for people that aspire to be real estate agents. What is a tip that you would give either a starting out real estate agent or to yourself if you were starting out? What would you say to yourself or to someone starting out?
I'll let you go first.
Make sure you really want it. Make sure you really want it. Make sure your mindset is ready, because you're going from having steady income to zero income. And that's what I tell everybody. You cannot do real estate part-time. Get that out your head. You cannot be working at State Farm trying to do insurance on the side, because you're never available for your clients.
Can he say State Farm? No, I'm just kidding.
And we're sued and seen. This is I need to like put a little ad here. We love State Farm. He should have showed up for Patrick Mahomes, but that's a whole other. We don't.
Oh my God.
We went there.
But no, it's just, it's starting out. I would definitely say at least have 6 months of your reserve saved. Because it's hard to transition, and you don't know where your money's coming from, because it takes at least 3 to 6 months to get your first deal if you do not have a book of business established, if you're not on a team, or if you're not, if you don't have anyone just providing you leads.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you start on as a team and then you started your own company? Or did you've always been by yourself?
I've always been by myself.
Okay. Why did you take that path?
I think it was a journey that I believe God sent me on, because I had a mentor, Harold Chenault out of Rockwall.
Okay.
He passed away right when I transitioned into real estate. And at that point, I trusted Harold a lot, and he pretty much gave me so much knowledge at that point in time. Like I said, he would tell me, have 6 months of reserves. Make sure you're full-time. Like everything that I'm saying, he reiterated that to me. And when he passed, I kind of felt alone, didn't know, but I wanted to keep going. So I took that approach. But yeah, I've always been solo by myself, started from the ground up, no book of business, no nothing, and kind of built myself up. But that's why I appreciate everything that's happened during this transition, during my season of growing this business, bringing her on, allowing my kids to see that it's not easy. If you want something, you have to really work for it. You have to grind. It doesn't always mean working harder. It means finding a solution to help you grow your business or to help you advance, right? So that's
100% agree. What would you tell your younger self or to someone?
There are probably two things. One is don't operate in fear. Always operate in faith. And then don't allow someone else to define what success looks like for you. Like I would say that stop worrying about what everybody else thinks is successful. What do you think? So that's what I would say. That was a journey. I think having our children helped that become a lot more clear for me, to stop worrying about what was going on around and focus on what our vision was, our purpose was, and where God was taking us.
because, you know, when we were talking about this, there's other people around us, our family members, and I always say family members, because those are the immediate ones that will voice their opinion.
Yeah.
And it's not whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because a lot of people in my family don't really know what I do. They're like, you know.
I know for a fact you are necessary. I know that for a fact.
But like they don't, you know, when leading up to it and the jokes about influencers and creators, because look, I mean, you can be famous, you can be infamous. What are they for? All these things. Right. But then when you look at the business and you look behind it, and it was. I remember just feeling, like you said, like a little, like alone. Yeah. And when we take this path, it's like, oh, but my friend, like they're doing, you know, your family and your friend, and it's we compare in a sense of, are we doing the right thing? And to share and connect with people. So it's not like we're comparing to sit in judgment. We're comparing of like, am I hitting the bar and the task? And when you push all that away and you look at yourself, it's like, and taking it in, it's like, I am for myself. Right. That's right. Because that is not your family, this is your family. This works great for our family.
That's right.
And having the opportunity to ask my kids now that they're older and to hear their response, it was like, whew, we did good. I mean, we still got a lot of, you know, being there for them. But I think it's to get the feedback from family. I would always tease Jason because we worked on the weekends as real estate agents. Like, you work on the weekends.
You work on the weekends, yep.
So I always would tease and say, let's throw our Christmas party at Wednesday at 10 a.m. Because you guess who can make it? Me and you can.
That's right.
But they can't.
Yeah.
Because they're at their 8 to 5, right? Right. But they always want to throw them and then ask why we can't be there on Saturday and Sunday. And I was like, let's flip the tables. Yeah. Let's make them take days off. You know, just teasing. I don't mean any harm. Yeah. But, you know, like, we can be there at 10 because we are running this company and we set our boundaries and our things.
That's right.
And I'd always joke about that because as entrepreneurs that work on Saturdays and Sundays, was a wedding photographer, all of those things
you were. Yeah.
Where it was like, well, we really missed you. And it was like, well, I'll see you at 10 on Wednesday. You know, like, you want to have, oh, you can't get off work? Yeah, you know, same. Yeah. Do you feel that sometimes, though, like on the things that you handle, not as spiteful as me, but...
No, go ahead.
I would say... It depends on who is saying it, and then it depends on them actually watching your journey. Yeah. Like that initial response is not going to be the same after they see you fight through and persevere and just continue. My dad said something the other day. It was probably a few months ago. He said, "Vaya, you're living my dream." That's what he told me. And I just wanted to cry because he's my dad. You know? Yeah. So, but yeah, he's been in aviation for probably since I was born, but he wanted to be like a serial entrepreneur. He took a different path, but he was like, you're living my dream. And I was like, wow.
That is success right there. Yeah. And that is and I think that's it. I think like when they don't know and they watch you build it and it's like, oh, because they're parents, right? Or their family members, they're like, oh, they're taking this risk. But then when they watch you pull through it, and I think that just like as we were talking about our parents, our kids as parents, letting them to kind of guide the way they watch us too. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's like the most amazing gift to hear a parent say that.
Even though like he may call and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm crying because I lost a deal. I'm crying because I had to compete for something and I didn't get it. Yeah. Like, there's that sports thing again. We still have to compete for deals. Same way. But it's like, I learned from it. So he's like, Vaya, you're good. You know how to get through this. You know how to overcome it. So, but yeah.
Well, and that was a question. And I think I know this answer because I'm going to guarantee it's your faith. But I think, like, what is that fortitude? Where do you go to make it through? And you said cry, and I do that. I say respect the sting. Yeah. Respect the loss. You have to respect the loss because then that's what makes the win, you know, what it is.
Much more greater.
What helps you push through? I mean, is it crying? Is it calling dad? Is it he goes to the gym?
It's faith. Every day.
Like running. I'm running on the treadmill.
Every day.
my goodness.
It is. It's my faith. He said he'll never leave me. He said he'll never forsake me, whether I'm successful on this day or whether I fail on that day. Like I'm never alone. I'm never alone. I always have value because Christ gave me my value.
I love that. And that's so true.
Right.
We're going to cry about it, but we're going
to get through it.
I do. I think it's so important to let it out. I'll say this no matter what happens in my life. Yeah. I will own if it's anything, but I'm going to cry today, and I'm going to stand tomorrow. Right. Let me sit in it. Let me sit it. Don't tell me. Don't tell me let it go. Or what do they say? Just stay calm or something. You say that, and I'm not going to stay calm. I think you can experience emotions, have faith, and rise.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. What is is it a song, a workout, or is it your faith that gets you through those tough moments?
It is my faith. I mean, to be honest, but the gym really helps. To be quite frank with you, because I can clear my mind. Yeah, and people really don't realize when you work out, it unfogs your brain. You're sweating out toxins in your body. You're doing all of this stuff, and you're able to think clearly. And to me, I try to focus a lot on God and get that wisdom from Him before I make my first move, before I decide to do something emotional, because we are emotional creatures. Something happens, we want to do something instantly without thinking about it, and usually when we make a decision like that, it doesn't turn out to be the right decision. And I like to just sit back, think about it. Even Chavayee and I, we talk about it, I pray about it again, and then I make the decision and I let it go. Because at that point, you have to put your faith in God, let Him guide you, let Him lead you, and you just roll with it. And that's where we were when she transitioned. It was like, hey, we're going to do this. We're okay, right? We have faith, transition, and see what happened. And I say this because as soon as she transitioned, Audrie, our business took off. She hit the ground running. We were just rolling, and we're still
waiting
rolling.
On me to make a decision.
And we're still rolling, and that's the thing. Like when He opens a door, nobody can close that door. Right now, what makes it difficult is that you have to continue to believe in knowing that what He's telling you is the right thing. You make the right choices, another door will open. Right? You continue to do those things, He will continue to show you, okay, not that door, but we'll wait, be patient, boom. Next thing you know, like you said, something happened, next thing you know, you ended up getting a commission check that you was like, oh, wow. Right? And because you were patient. And because,
my husband's going to argue with that one. He says it's because I'm not. He's like, you've got to learn to be patient. But I need to learn that. And I think you're right. I think it's slowing down and listening and clearing your mind. And I think that's something I know for a fact that I need to work on. And that's why I love Founders and Fortitude, is learning from you, listening to that, seeing real people that I know and love and respect that are going through those trenches, and hey, this is what I'm doing to fight through that, to leave a legacy. This is what I'm handling with our relationship. And we all love beautiful pictures, and I love romance and all of the girly stuff, but this is reality. This is reality. This is what love looks like. This is what a beautiful, God-fearing, God-loving family looks like, and this is how you're maneuvering through this. And He doesn't promise it's easy.
That's right.
That's right. And it's not easy.
No, I had to, oh my goodness, I forgot to tell you. Before I transitioned, I was this man's transaction coordinator for 2 years.
Yes, you were.
You got me started. And he fussed at me one day because I didn't operate on his timeline. And I was sitting in the home office, and I sat back and I looked at him. I was like, you really gonna talk to me like this? Are we doing this? And he's like, Vaya, you got deadlines. And I was like, well, crap, he's right. So, yeah. But he, like, went off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I don't play.
But, you know, me and Jason were trying to lightly touch that on ours is, you know, I'll say something, and I have to be prepared as a businesswoman, not as his wife.
That's right.
And then I made a joke, and I'm like, but am I still pretty? No! You know, but do you still think I'm pretty? But it is. I have to take, and then sometimes it's too much. Sometimes I need my husband, stop educating me, stop trying to fix it. Right. I want my husband that took me by the hand and took me to the movies and got my favorite martini. Yes. I do not want reality right now, okay? Right. But you're right. You have to put your business hat on, because when you're making financial decisions or timelines or moves that are best for your family, it's that patience that I'm working on. Because for the longest time, I wanted a new car. Not right now. Not right now.
Yes.
It worked out perfectly. Yeah. Our daughter, the car was still great. Our daughter gets the car. I get a new car. Right. If I would have done that before, we would have had to pay more money for a car for our daughter. Yes. You know, all of those things. Yes. I mean, that was a problem.
But still, that's a great example.
But it's very much to be spoken to as you're in business together to get the football down the field together. And although we are a little bit more relaxed as a couple, you know, like how you're going to speak to each other is not necessarily how we would speak to somebody else, but sometimes they're not wrong.
Sometimes.
We say that loosely.
Sometimes.
I think, you know, just with her coming on, and I've told her plenty of times that, you know, she has made me better as a man. Mm-hmm. She has made our company better because she brings that principle mentality, that mindset with structure. Mm-hmm. I'm the go-getter. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of saying hustler because I don't hustle anymore. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. That's right. I am the businessman. I go in there and I close the deal. I go in there and I shake hands, kiss babies, everything that I need to do to bring in the business. And then once I do that,
it's now yours.
It's the system. It's the process.
It's the process that she brings that makes our transaction seamless for our clients, right? Yeah. So, you know, just with that, that's what she brings to the table that I value a lot. Just not her being on the team with me. No. Yeah. She's strong where I am weak. Yep. Right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't see that. That goes even in your marriage, believe it or not, right? Mm-hmm. And our relationship, our bond, you know, I'm always strong, and that's why I had to learn patience. Mm-hmm. I'm learning patience because I'm strong-minded, I'm stubborn, and I'm like constantly, no, this is how we're going to do it. But when you have the voice of reason, and then you sit back and you meditate, you know what? Yeah, she was right. Yeah.
Do you tell her she was right, though? How do you present? Come tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Do you tell her she's right, or do you just follow with your actions?
I follow.
You just do your actions, like, hey, and like if she said, "Can you file this paper to the left and not the right?" and you're like, I don't really want to file it to the right. If a little bit later, you're just going to walk in with the paper how she wanted it.
Right.
Not going to make a big deal out of it, like, hey, you're right, babe, da-da-da. Right. No, just going to file it how she wants it.
But I'll get, like, yeah, you did it anyway. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I don't say anything, but then it's that late night pillow talk. You were right. I tell her that after the fact because I'm still in the moment. I'm doing it, but I'm like, upset that I'm doing it because I know she was right. So I won't give her.
That's real life, though. I mean, that's real life. I think that those are the things that I love about this because that is real. It is not all. And you tapped on the word hustle, and I think that's where the great things about social media and then the tough things, because there's motivational things that are out there. And I heard Gary Vee say this the other day. Hey, if you want to go be with your friends and family, stop beating yourself up because you're not hustling. Like, you can do that.
Right.
Make that time. Be intentional with your time. And then that's where it comes with, like, the word hustle, the word boss babe, those things that are very, like, cliche type, where I understand the words. I understand why they were used. And I like that you said that, because you're like, I think there are seasons and I think we have to hustle and put in certain type of work.
Right.
But I think sometimes within this social media era, it's like hustle, boss babe, all these things. It's its whole little entity.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, this is grit. This is gritty. This is fortitude. This is messy. That's a slogan. This is life.
Right. That's
And
right.
and when you said that, I'm like, that needs to be tapped on, because you do have to put in that work. You don't walk in, I'm going to be a real estate agent,
Right.
and then have like, you're not. You have to build that
Right.
up.
You have
And
to.
it's not a hashtag. It's not a notebook.
No.
It's, whatever's on the front of that notebook, that's fantastic. But it's
Right.
what you're putting in it. It's what's coming out of it.
That's right.
And to kind of crush that, kind of the cliche things.
I think at the beginning, when I first started, it wasn't even Johnson Realty Group. It was Herbert Johnson,
Yeah, it was.
right?
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was hustling, door knocking,
Yeah.
passing out cards in the heat, in the summer. I mean, it was hot that summer. That was the hustle. But you evolve to becoming, you evolve to run a business.
Right.
You're no longer hustling at that point. You're evolving. You're not just the boss babe. The boss babe, okay, that is the term that they label. But you are a business woman.
That's right.
Running a business.
Right.
Right. This is no longer a hustle. Hustle is when you're trying to get it off the ground. I'm off the ground. I've been off the ground for 14 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm seeing the vision that I had, because I believe God gives us visions. No, a dream is something that passes by, right? You have a dream. Most people have a dream and they don't remember what the dream is about.
Yeah.
But a vision, you will remember a vision. You will have deja vu because you have seen that before, right? So I'm seeing the vision that I had. I'm seeing my wife come along. I'm seeing my kids being raised a certain way. The vision that I had when I started the business. That's how I know for sure that the legacy is going to be left. I have to continue to do my thing. I'm not going to say my thing. The purpose that God has given me. I got to continue to stay on that and stay in alignment, right?
Right.
So it's no longer a hustle. I never wanted to be a hustler.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you say hustler, you thinking somebody's, something doing
Tra-
somebody.
You don't.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
think of like a good person or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And I love how you brought that to light, and I love that you are saying, your vision, your legacy, those things, and the real grit that it takes to do it, because I think it can be so pictured just like marriage, and it can be pictured in a certain way, and you are the first to get there and the last to leave, and showing up for all the things, and showing up for each other. And so in the part of the show notes, and if you don't have these, I'll grab them from you when you leave. Okay. But what are 3 things, whether it's a book, a podcast, a tool that you use? Share those with me. You can either share those now if you listen to something or do something, or I want to make sure I get those from you from after the show, because I would love to link those of what maybe they could learn that you used on your journey, whether that's, a book or something like that. And then where can we all find you, work with you? I mean, I know where to find y'all, but where can we find you, work with you, and get to know about, your company?
You can find us on the Johnson _group, which is our IG handle.
Yeah.
The Johnson _group. That's us. And then working with us, you can click on our website. That's in our
Your website's
IG.
beautiful. I love it. Obsessed.
thank you.
Your content's so good.
Thank you.
I love y'all's videos. I love them so much. Yeah, I love it so much.
That's good.
Yeah, you can find us there. Go to our website, and you're able to go in and submit your information, and we can give you a call.
Right.
Or you can give us a call at 972-821-9536.
I love it. I love it.
Thanks.
Yeah, y'all are the best, and I appreciate you so much. I know it takes a lot to come on and talk about it all. I mean, the good choices we make, the questionable choices we make, and going through it. And I know that y'all's conversation is going to impact so many. I know that it has for me. I had my, chills several times in this conversation, and y'all mean a lot to me. So thank you for coming on.
We feel the same. Thank you.
And taking the time to do so. And look, you guys, have the time to do so.
I know.
Right.
I know.
I mean,
Yes.
hypothetically, do we ever have time?
I know.
Right.
I mean,
Yes.
hypothetically, do we ever have time? But I think it's so
It's the most
important.
valuable thing.
Yeah.
Well, this
That
is still
time.
working, right? This is
It
still working,
is.
but we're having fun doing the thing
Yeah.
that we love.
Yeah.
And before we leave, I just wanted to say it has been a blessing to see how you have transformed from when we first met.
Yeah.
Are you wanting me to cry? Is
No.
this one of the, do you know
No.
I can't take compliments. I can take a criticism better than a compliment, but I'll let you finish. Sorry. I can't do it.
Well, we have seen you from being on the baseball field to, like I said earlier, you was designing hats and you had your cupcakes, to transforming that business into another business, and now you're here.
Yeah.
And we have seen that, and you have been a great model.
You're
For
a
your-
great inspiration.
a great
Like for real.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Scarlett is very lucky to have you as a mom to be able to see this,
Yeah.
because you do have the
Presley
grit.
too.
Right,
Yeah.
and Presley too. Yeah, you
Yeah.
do have the grit, and so we've seen that. So we just want to say, congratulations on all of your success too.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry.
No,
But,
you're
I
not.
mean, I'm so grateful, and I think that's what you said is legacy, and I
Yeah.
want that for my kids, and I have a vision of what I want. I want to be there for my kids. I want to work so hard that when they decide to have a family,
Yeah.
that I can be their support.
Right.
That's my goal.
Right.
I want my grandma, they're like, Mom, we don't even want kids right now. And I'm like, I want to be lovey, and I want to,
Aw,
but I
that's a
want
good
to
thing.
support their vision, whatever that may be. And
Yeah.
that's the legacy. I want to work hard so I can be there for them.
Amen.
So I love
Amen.
that.
That's good.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to close this out. Feel free to laugh at me as I close this out. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and listening. As always, capture, brand, and engage, and let's do big things.
That's good. That's good.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Founders and Fortitude Conversations with Audrie Dollins. For details and links from our incredible guests, be sure to check out our show notes. You might even find exclusive discounts and special items we share that aren't even mentioned during the show. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to leave a 5-star review. It truly helps us grow and continue sharing valuable insights with you. You can connect with me daily on Instagram at Audrie Dollins, AudrieDollins, and don't forget to visit my website at audriedollins.com, where you'll find years of blogs packed with tips and insights to help you thrive. As always, capture, brand, and engage, and let's do big things.